The exponent of a number says how many times to use the number in a multiplication. For example, in 8 squared, yung 2 dito, ang sabi dyan, dalawang beses daw nating multiply si 8 sa sarili niya. Parang ganito. 8 squared is equal to 8 times 8. Ngayon, alam naman natin na pag minultiply natin ng 8 times 8, that is 64. In other words, ang ibang term ng 8 squared ay 8 to the second power. Pwede rin siyang tawagin na 8 to the power of 2. Also, pwede rin siyang tawagin na 8 squared. So, maraming tawag dito sa base at saka exponent na given dito. Exponent are also called power or indices. So, an exponent saves us writing out lots of multiplies. Now, meron tayong given dito na a raised to 7. Yung a raised to 7 na yan, equal yan sa a times a times a times a times a times a times a. 7 beses nating minultiply si a sa sarili niya. Okay? Next. Pwede rin naman natin siyang isulat na ganito. I-remove natin yung multiplication symbol. Okay? So, pwede sila magkakatabi lang. So, this is equivalent to a raised to 7 as well. Furthermore, this one is x raised to 6 is also equivalent to x times x times x times x times x times x. 6 na beses nating minultiply si x sa sarili niya. So, the key to the loss is writing all the letters down is the key to understanding the loss. Okay? So, for example, meron ako ditong given na 8 squared times x raised to 3. Okay? So, dito, isusulat muna natin yung x squared as this one. So, ginroup natin siya. Nilagyan natin sa loob ng parenthesis, x times x. So, dalawang x yan. Also, yung x cubed, andito yan. So, nilagay din natin sa loob ng parenthesis. 3 x ang meron sa loob ng parenthesis. And then, pag pinag-combine natin yan at binilang natin lahat ng x, meron tayong 5 x na mabubuo. Okay? And also, it can be written as x to the 5th. Why? Because yung x dito, meron tayong 5. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, yung 5 dito na exponent, ito yung number of times na minultiply mo si x sa sarili niya. Okay? So, that's it. In other words, x squared times x cubed can be simplified as x raised to 5. Ito yung ibang way para isulat itong given expression na to. So mamaya, ituturuan ko kayo kung bakit nagkaroon ng ganyan, ano yung law na ginamit dyan, paano gagamitin yung mga laws na yan para masimplify natin ang given expression. So, when in doubt, just remember to write down all the letters, parang ginawa natin kanina, as many as the exponent tells you to do, and see if you can make sense of it. So, that is our topic for today. So, our topic for today is all about loss of exponent. So, meron tayong mga bagay na kailangan nating matandaan. Okay? Pero dito, ang ituturo ko lang sa inyo yung dalawang bagay lang muna, no? So, the exponent says how many times to use the number in a multiplication. Also, a negative exponent means divide because the opposite of multiplying is dividing. So, dito, ito muna yung tuturo ko sa inyo. Tsaka na tayo dumako dito sa third part na to about fractional exponents. So, mag-focus muna tayo dito sa rational exponent tsaka negative exponent. So, let's move on. Okay, so these are the rules of exponent if you want to see yung grasp or some of the examples na given dun sa particular rule na ituturo ko sa inyo. Okay? So, first, let's focus ourselves sa first 3 rules. So, for example, we have here x raised to 1. The exponent here is positive. That is equal to x. However, kapag yung x ni-raise mo ay 0, then the answer is 1. Also, if your x is being raised to negative number or 1, ang gagawin mo dyan, magiging fraction siya, no? 1 over x. Ang nangyari, kinuha mo yung reciprocal. So, isa-isayin natin paano nangyari yan. So, for example, I have here the powers of 5. So, 5 squared, alam naman natin kayo yung 5 squared, dalawang beses mo yung multiply si 5 sa sarili niya, 5 times 5. So, when you simplify it, that is 25. Also, yung 5 raised to 1, isang beses mo yung multiply si 5 sa sarili niya, 5, that is 5. 5 raised to 0, that is 1. Yan. Any number being raised to 0, that is 1. And 5 raised to negative 1, that is 1 divided by 5, that is 0.2. 5 raised to negative 2, that is 1 divided by 5, divided by 5. So, that is 0.04. Pansinin nyo, no? Dito, parang yung kapag tumataas na yung exponent natin, lumalaki, nagiging 5 times larger siya. However, ganun naman sa kabila, no? Kapag lumiliit yung exponent natin or nagiging negative numbers, lumiliit din yung mga sagot natin dito. Okay, so yun lang naman yung logic doon. Ngayon, pag-aralan natin yung mga laws of exponent naman. Okay, what if we have this one? This is the law na ituturo ko sa inyo, the product law. X raised to m times x raised to n equals x raised to m plus n. Balikan nga natin yung kaninang given natin, yung x squared times x cubed. Okay? Ang sabi kasi dito sa rules na to, kapag ka nagmumultiply ka with the same bases, yung base dito is x, ina-add mo lang daw yung exponent. So, isa-isay nga natin. So, we have x squared. So, dito nang galing yung dalawang x na to, na nasa loob ng parentheses. Itong x cubed naman to, dito rin nang galing. Okay? So, x times x times x. So, ang gagawin natin dyan, pagsasamahin lang natin lahat ng x. Okay? So, we have x na 5. And then, we have x raised to 5. Pansinin nyo pag ginamit mo tong law na to, ang mangyayari, yung x dito, kinopya lang natin dyan. Yung exponent na 2, nilagay natin dito. That represents the m, right? Yung exponent na 3, that represents the n, that is, nilagay natin dito. So, therefore, x raised to 2 plus 3, that is equal to x raised to 5. So, in other words, pwede palang gawin natin tong law na to nang hindi natin sinusulat itong mga x na marami dito. Okay? So, basically, x raised to 5 can be written as x raised to 2 plus 3. 2 plus 3 is x to the 5th power. Okay? That is the first general rule. Okay? The product rule of the exponent. So, let's try another one. This law is what we call quotient rule. So, we have x raised to m over x raised to n equals to x raised to m minus n. Kanina, sa product, parang ina-add natin ng dalawang exponent. Dito, sa quotient naman, sa division, kabaliktaran. No? Isusubtract natin ng dalawang exponent. So, paano mangyayari doon? For example, I have here the given. X raised to 4 divided by x raised to 2. So, anong gagawin mo dyan? So, ang gagawin mo dyan, kukopihin mo lang muna yung mga x's. So, isa-isayin natin. Wag nating madaliin masyado. So, x raised to 4 equals to x times x times x times x. 4 na x yan. X raised to 2 equals to x times x, dalawang x. Okay? So, ngayon, ang mangyayari dyan, since yung x dito, may x din sa baba, yung dalawang x sa taas at baba, matatanggal. So, ang matitira ay yung dalawang x na nasa taas. Okay? So, therefore, kung meron kang dalawang x dyan, that is equal to x squared. Okay? So, other way of writing it, I want you to look at this one. Yung x raised to 4 divided by x raised to 2. Yung x, pwede mong kopyahin yan. Tapos, isubtract mo lang yung dalawang exponent. So, 4 minus 2. Okay? So, yung 4 na yan, nag-represent yan sa m. Yung 2, nag-represent yan sa n. So, sinubtract natin, that is also equivalent to x squared. This is the illustration kanina na ginawa natin. Ito naman yung kapag ginamit mo na yung law. Okay? So, that is the quotient law or quotient rule. Ay, by the way, ito nga yung nangyari doon kanina, no? Tinanggal natin yung x na dalawa sa taas at baba. Okay, we can cancel them out. Kaya ang natira, itong x times x. Tapos ginawa natin siyang exponent, that is x squared. Okay, so what about this one? Try natin yung gamitin natin ng quotient rule dito. Okay, so that our exponent here or our variable first is x. And the exponent is 2 and 2, taas at baba. So, we have 2 minus 2. Pag sinimplify natin yan, yung exponent dito, x, that is 2 minus 2, we have 0. And alam naman natin kanina from the rule, any number or any variable being raised by 0, that is equal to 1. Okay, so the answer would be x raised to 1 or simply x. So, this one is a power rule. So, kapag meron ka namang x raised to m, ni-raise mo pa sa isa pang power, pag power that represents the exponent, di ba? Ang gagawin mo lang sa dalawang power na yan or dalawang exponent ay imu-multiply lang natin. So, that is x raised to m times n. So, let's have an example. So, we have x cubed or x raised to 3. Naka-raise pa siya sa isa pang exponent na 4. So, first, bigyan natin ng illustration para ma-imagine natin. Yung x cubed na yan, nilagay natin sa loob ng parenthesis or group, no? Tatlong x ang nagre-represent dyan, right? Eh, meron ka pa ditong 4. So, anong gagawin mo na? Yung 4 dito na exponent, ibig sabihin, 4 na beses natin gagawin ng group na yan. Okay? So, 4 na tigtatatlong x ang gagawin natin. Ngayon, finally, bibilangin na natin, pagsasama-samahin na natin lahat ng x. So, pag binilang natin yan, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Saan ang galing yan? Dito. Saan ang galing to? Dito sa 4. 4 na beses natin gindroup yung tatlong x na nasa loob ng parenthesis. So, therefore, pag binilang natin yan, that is x raised to 12. So, paano nangyari yun? Okay, so x raised to 3 raised to 4, that is also equivalent to x raised to 3 times 4, di ba? 3 times 4 is 12. Okay, without writing this many x or x's, no? Pwede natin gamitin tong law na to. So, sa law, mabilis lang siyang makita, no? Ang gagawin mo lang, imumultiply mo lang si 3 at si 4. 3 times 4, that is 12. The answer would be x raised to 12. Okay, so that is the rules of power rules. Okay, so we have here another example. I think yung kanina power of the power, ito yung power rule pala, no? So dito, meron akong dalawang variable. So we have x, y raised to n. So ang gagawin mo lang dyan, parang i-distribute mo lang yung power, no? So we have x raised to n times y raised to n. So, an example would be like this. So, yeah, we have the quantity xy raised to 3. So, ang gagawin mo lang dyan, syempre, i-group mo lang yung xy ng tatlong beses. Okay? So, ngayon, pag sinulat na natin ng tatlong beses yan, tanggalin na natin ng parenthesis. After nyan, bilangin mo or pagsama-samahin natin lahat ng x. 1, 2, 3. Pagsamahin natin sa loob ng group. 1, 2, 3 na y. Pagsamahin natin sa loob ng group. After natin mag-group, bilangin natin yung x. Dito, tatlo, di ba? So, we have x cubed. Next is y. Y cubed. So, therefore, the answer would be x cubed times y cubed. Okay, so, parang pag in-apply din natin to kanina, no, yung rule na to. So, yung 3, i-distribute natin sa x. X raised to 3. Yan, di ba? Then yung y is i-raise natin sa 3, that is y raised to 3. So, this is the final answer. Okay, so this one is a quotient, what do you call this? A quotient rule. Quotient of a power rule pala. No, this one is a quotient of a power rule. So, we have x over y raised to 3. So, dalawang rule na ang pinagsama natin dito. So, it can be written as x, yung x over y raised to n, it can be written as x raised to n, over y raised to n. So, anong mangyayari dyan? So, i-group natin siya ng tatlong beses. Yung x over y times x over y times x over y. Also, pwede natin siya pagsamahin, no? Yung x dun sa numerator, since pare-parehas lang, pagsamahin natin sa isang numerator. So, x times x times x. Same with the denominator, y times y times y. So, bilangin natin ngayon, ayan, yung x, di ba? Ito naman yung y. Bilangin natin ngayon yung number of x and number of y. Sa numerator, we have x cubed, dahil tatlo yung x natin. Sa denominator, we have y cubed, because tatlo rin yung ating y sa denominator. Okay, this could be the final answer. So, x over y raised to 3 is equal to x cubed over y raised to 3. Okay, so all you need to know is the exponent says how many times to use the number in a multiplication. Also, a negative exponent means divide because the opposite of multiplying is dividing. So, one more thing, guys, no? What if x is equal to 0? So, yung variable natin mag-equal sa 0. So, 0 raised to n, that is equal to 0. Pag positive yung exponent. Ngayon, kapag negative yung exponent, okay, yung n ay negative, the answer would be undefined. Okay? Ngayon, kapag ang exponent ay 0, kaya meron tayong 0 raised to 0, strange case yan, no? So, that is the strange case of 0. Most of them, ang sinasabi, 1. May mga nagsasabi na 0. Pero ang tamang, may mga nagsasabi rin na that is indeterminate. Okay? And that concludes our session or lesson for today about laws of exponents. And we will continue our quest in the or using exponents in algebra.